performance is essential to greatness. Greatness challenges convention and takes the path less traveled. Pursue greatness and choose the Intel Solid-State Drive 750 series.
Trade and bet on competitive games. Your Dota 2 cosmetics item. Visit DotA2.vpgame.com.
Welcome back. WePlay Season 3 live here from the Kiev International Exhibition Center, and we are in our second best of 3 of the day. I say in, but we are preparing for our second best of 3 of the day. As well, that's a big crowd. That is
that's a signing area.
That's a signing area. So there's some fans there waiting to get their autograph of their most favorite player. We are not going to see any of those players that are there, by the way, because our players are going to be all from a different continent. Therefore here, perhaps having a little bit less fans, although you just proved me wrong by saying that there's a lot of EG fans actually out here in the crowd. We were going to watch EG versus Elite Wolves. The winner of that will move on to face Empire in the last series of the night. Loser goes home, is out. So an important match for both of the teams. It will be a best of 3. We've seen the teams play yesterday, and there's a lot to talk about. I started writing down topics to talk about, and like, oh, there's actually a lot to talk about this series, because you got your. Let's start at the beginning, or rather at the end of yesterday, last game that we saw yesterday. And I know you both might have been asleep, but you probably would have seen.
First game.
You probably would have seen also some tweets, also some maybe highlight clips. There were fights that lasted actual 5 minutes or 4.5, I believe it was, where there were defensive supports and running around, kiting around, nobody really dying, and everybody still continuing to fight, and weapons continue following the action all across the map. That basically was the entire, like almost the entire game. And both teams do like the defensive supports in this best of 3 series. So I am really curious to hear from you guys how much of a chance there is of a repeatal of those type of fights that we saw yesterday.
Well, if it's E-Wolves, for me in particular, because they like the heroes like Axe and Slardar and like these really tanky heroes, that's why they go for the defensive supports, because it's nice backup for any Blink Initiator, right? Like your Dazzle or your Winter Wyvern and stuff like that. If EG decide to respect ban any of those heroes, I think there might be a less likelihood that we see those supports. Okay. But if they're in the pool, which, again, you know, it's PPD, so whatever he decides that he wants to do is what's going to happen, and that's just what kind of captain he is. So I think if they get Axe or they get Slardar, or maybe even do crazy stuff like Tinker, we could very well see those defensive supports. So, gonna have to see the draft.
And for EG, they're often picking those defensive supports to protect their carries who want to farm. For Elite Wolves, they're doing it to protect their carries who want to fight and die for kills. So it's
exactly
the two teams. They have maybe some crossover in their support preferences, but as far as carries and cores go, the playstyles are very different. I think we're going to see Elite Wolves setting the tempo a lot more, and EG just reacting. So for EG, that's not necessarily a bad thing. They're a team who reacts and adapts very well. So
they've been like overly farmy, I would say.
Yeah, I haven't been impressed by them yet on the new patch. It does feel like they're kind of adjusting around, and they feel like it's just easiest to play. Focus on farming and farming efficiency. Like every single game, they're stacking. They don't care if they give up a kill or two, because their opponents are committing 3-4 heroes to a smoke gank. And meanwhile, elsewhere on the map, EG's like the game against Adfinem, the best example. Adfinim's up 10 kills to 1. EG are up by like 2k gold, 4k experience, and in a better position. So
maybe they also feel like they can do that because they know the game is going to last fairly long anyway, or at least it's not going to be ending as early as some other games on the previous patch.
They have been having a tendency to lean towards like 2 cores a lot of the time. Like we saw the Lifesteal Lone Druid yesterday, then they had the Sven the other day as well. I can't remember what other core they paired that with, but I think they had another one.
A Brew and a Doom.
Yeah,
well, Brew for a Sumail.
Yeah, that was the last
game.
Yeah, that was the last game. So they do like to play a little bit more farm-oriented right now, but I think it's a safe way to play when the patch is new because no one knows what actually is the best yet. And since the games have a tendency to go longer, then farming has a better chance, I think, of winning if you feel like you're just the better team and your late game decision-making is going to be good enough to kind of carry you through. So maybe that's the way the EG are just approaching every single series until they decide, okay, this is actually what we just want to pick. Instead of saying, all right, we're just going to pick 3 heroes that farm, and if you don't beat us in 30 minutes, we're going to win.
Yeah, I think for EG, that's exactly it. Like, you've got these efficiently farming heroes. We've seen the Sven, we've seen the Lone Druid, the Lifesteal. It's like, let's play the late game. And until a team really tests EG, runs at them and just pushes them down or wins the game in the first 20-30 minutes, EG is not going to have to change their playstyle.
So coming back to defensive supports, one of the heroes that's actually going to be highly contested for both teams and also would fit exactly in the playstyle that you just mentioned is the Winter Wyvern. Like, okay, you can try to end us in 30 minutes, but if you got a Winter Wyvern on your side, you're going to have trouble pushing high ground against that hero for sure. And Winter Wyvern later on in the game, he doesn't really fall off. Yeah,
it's actually the opposite. Because not a lot of supports have scaling abilities. So like Shadow Demon is one, but we don't see him too often, right? Yeah. Like Soulcatcher can be great late game. The Illusions from the Disruption can be great late game. Winter Wyvern is like, if I hit a good curse and the enemy core is hitting like a support or, you know, it doesn't even really matter who it is because you get 70 bonus attack speed. You're just going to get destroyed. And we've also seen it like the common counter to Beastmaster because the Inner Beast still affects your team and then you get the extra attack speed from the curse on top of that. You got great deep push. The Aghanims, I think, is something that we could see if the game goes super long. But that's like a 4th item, probably minimum.
We saw it yesterday, I think.
Maybe
not in the second game, not in the last game, but in one of the games yesterday we saw the Aghanims come out. So
it makes that hero like king of high ground defense, in my opinion.
Yeah, good luck pushing against that. Which is interesting because, yes, EG is the one that is banking towards that late game. Elite Wolves, I believe that the Ryu and Pike constantly say like, yo, they gotta pace themselves. They are sometimes hyper aggressive and they don't know when to back down. And Winter Wyvern is not really your typical support that you would place in that type of lineup that would fit in that type of playstyle.
I have a counter argument for that, right?
Okay.
Okay, so say I'm gonna make an analogy here. You're playing a pub, okay? You're playing with a bunch of people like who are really aggressive. You want to pick a defensive support to save those people because you know they're going to tower dive. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like I got a Spirit Breaker on my team who's diving under a tier 2 tower. I want Grave. I want like Cold Embrace. I want something to help that guy, you know, because I want to make sure he doesn't die.
And it's also great because it's like it stops them. It's like you're not diving anymore. I've just Cold Embrace you.
Like Cold Embrace is like stop. Don't go in here anymore.
I actually know what that feels like. I play a lot with Odie Pixel, and he is the person that just runs in.
And you're the Winter Wyvern.
Winter Wyvern works for that, or I get Ether Lens on almost every defensive support because then you can get at least in range to try and save them. But that actually makes a lot of sense. It would fit perfectly for them. And Masuko, who normally plays the Winter Wyvern, he has then some control of the game, making sure that they don't do too stupid things, which is still their trap. And I feel like this is also their trap in the upcoming series because EG. They'll punish that.
Yeah,
I mean, they won't initiate themselves, but if you come to them, sure, free kills, why not?
Yeah, and we saw, was it the first day E-Wolves were like diving the well? At some point when there was like a tier 2 alive, they just kept going, and it's like, okay, well, that's great. You were kind of winning until you lost 4 heroes because you were inside the enemy base.
I think you're maybe thinking of MVP's game where they did that.
Oh, maybe that was MVP.
There was an Elite Wolves one where they dove like past a tier 3 tower at 12 minutes in or something as well. Yeah. So MVP doing something very similar.
Same thing. But I do think the defensive support synergize with their playstyle very well.
Okay, and then the next one, building up on that, you got your defensive supports, and then at least from Elite Wolves, you got the dual lanes going on. So indeed, EG, we just said they are fairly greedy. They will put something in the jungle to make sure that they can utilize everything, all the stacks, all the farm, everywhere. Elite Wolves, they're kind of okay with letting that slightly slide.
Have they played any junglers?
I don't think so.
I don't think I've seen them play
No.
a single jungle hero.
They normally like to have the rope. They actually prefer the Tusk, it seems, over like
Yeah.
the Bounty and the Earth Spirit. So they're kind of unique in that fashion, which has been a really successful hero for Mystico. So curious to see if we see that come out against EG.
Yeah. So are they gonna? How are they gonna try to punish? Okay, so are they gonna try to punish EG's greed by playing the dual lanes and just trying to get the pressure going, or are we gonna see them change up their playstyle? Because I kind of feel like they need to show at least that they can do it, because it seems like a bit of a weakness for them not to even try.
I think it's a bigger statement to do what you feel is best and beat the enemy team. You know what I mean? So like, if you want to play greedy, then play your style and win with it. If you want to play aggressive and you want to get these like tower divey heroes, then do that and win with it. Like, don't try to adjust too much. Obviously, there are heroes that can accomplish different things in a draft, but still play aggressive. You know, so I don't want to see them deviate too far away from what they do so much. Is just constant pressure, because I think that's what you need to do against EG. Outgreeding that team just historically not been so good. Like trying to play the late game against them. Like Alliance was another team. You know, people talked about it for a long time. Great late game decision making. They're very efficient across the map. It's hard to beat them in late game scenarios. So I think if you're E-Wolves, you come into this and you want to win fast.
Yeah, and I think the Slaughter pick they've been doing is really good against a lot of EG's heroes they've been running. The Lone Druid, the Lifesteal, like all these kind of tanky cores, the Sven.
Right.
Like, this is like a dream Slaughter game. So if anything, EG want to ban it, or if not, Elite Wolves should be picking it.
Yep.
One of the heroes that we saw being a recurring theme yesterday was the Darkseer. If you're going to go for dual lanes, Darkseer is one of those heroes that is going to be able to deal with that, right?
Yeah, I mean, Darkseer can be good. Honestly, I think E-Wolves could actually pick Darkseer themselves.
True.
If they wanted
I am
to.
going to interrupt you. We are actually going to be having a short break before we go into this second best of 3 of the day. So we will be right back. Keep in mind, elimination match, Elite Wolves, Evil Geniuses. One of these two teams is going to go home. One of those two will be facing Empire as our last match of the day. So we will be right back with more Dota 2.
Performance is essential to greatness. Greatness challenges convention and takes the path less traveled. Pursue greatness and choose the Intel Solid State Drive 750 series.
Trade and bet on competitive games. Your Dota 2 cosmetics item. Visit DotA2.vpgame.com.
You're mine for the taking. These reflections glimmer bright. It's like staring at the sun. Can't tear my eyes away from. And they're burning, but I don't seem to care. I'm buried by the light.
see through falling rain, with your eyes alive for me again. Put the notion to the wind. The lover's gone, we'll come back again. You could be the only way that I'll find true love again one day. And I would tear down any wall and start you. I could be your king again. Are you strong enough to be my queen? And you could be the only way I'll stop you. I can live without you, I just don't want to. Stand still.
Would you be my friend tomorrow? If you were my lover today, would you be open to my confessions? 'Cause some things will never fade away, and I will lead you on a burning trail. I'm your opponent, so own it. And I could lose you to a fairy tale, so seize the moment and make it stay. On the skyline, the reflections will catch you. From the twilight, we'll dive into the morning. On the front line, I'm searching to break through. When I feel you here we go again. 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 Here we go There's a smoking gun, but the sirens end. In the battle dawn, see the tribes descend. We can stand apart, we can stand together. Can I leave your heart and take me forever? hear your call, you cry for me, and
game? No? I had a break.
Hello,
You know
welcome back. Hello. We are here for the WePlay LAN finals, and we have an elimination match coming your way. Elite Wolves versus Evil Geniuses, and as we speak, we have them taking the stage. I believe we might even have a video regarding... No, we do not have the video, unfortunately. Okay, so we're going to see ourselves an elimination match. I just talked already to Gods and to Draskell, and I want to hear you guys' opinion just beforehand. How do you feel these two teams are going to go against each other?
NA DotA.
NA DotA. Is that bias talking or is that analyst talking?
Does that actually say anything though? 'Cause
I mean,
both teams are NA.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean,
they're NA. It's all, I mean, you actually Peruvians play on NA servers, so they're NA.
Yeah, but they're not
North
NA,
America.
North America.
Yeah, they're American now.
They're kind of NA-ish. Yeah, they play on the NA service.
Okay, now we do now have them taking the stage. So Elite Wolves, we got Evo, Mystico, Masuko, Smash, and Van.
You mean M-God?
M-God, I'm
Two
sorry.
M-Gods?
I don't... It's very confusing. I don't think they... you can't call yourself M-God.
M&Ms, they're the M&Ms.
You can't call yourself M-God, confirm?
Smash is me, Pastor.
Who's the other M-God? Let's see, Merlini? Kappa?
No, that would be... Miracle, but
Miracle,
the one
Miracle.
not the Miracle.
What about
from
Misery? Misery.
Miracle is earlier than Misery, or not?
Misery
I'm looking
was
at
really...
Yeah,
Misery
yeah,
used to be good at
Swedish
offlane.
Miracle.
I think he was really good on Secret. For
I think Miracle did the Swedish Miracle.
The Swedish Miracle, that's what it was.
He might have been before Misery.
Too many miracles in the scene.
But that was long ago. It was like 10, 11 years
Yeah,
ago.
but that's the original M-God then, yeah? No?
That's what I'm saying.
I think Merlini is the original M-God, yeah.
Okay. Evil Geniuses is the other team that we'll see today. As we already saw this video yesterday. We don't need to see it again. It's all good. You can find it online on YouTube. By the way, guys, before we talk anything more about the games, keep in mind that there are giveaways going on DotA2.vpgame.com to celebrate the WePlay Season 3 LAN Finals. So make sure you check that out. Now, this series, what does it come down to? How aggressive are we going to be? How long are the games going to be? And how much aggression is there going to be early game? Because, I mean, both of you keep saying, oh, Elite Wolves, you know, they're the ones that dive. They're the ones that slightly overcommit. And against Evil Geniuses, that's going to get punished. So how do you feel these two playstyles clash? And what's the result of that?
I don't necessarily think it's going to get punished as in like maybe hero rotations, as in more so they're going to get punished by the greed factor of EG. But yeah, we're going to see that. Save that a little bit. PPD.
Oh, do the intro again.
No, that's too hard. I don't have the voice. I'm dead today.
That's a shame.
He can do it. Like Pikeats.
Ladies
and gentlemen.
Be the announcer.
Boba. We see Boba walk onto the stage, followed by Sumail there and AY 2000. He carry play now for ET. No Artur Babaev.
I don't think that's a very good announcer voice.
No?
Nope.
All right.
Sorry, that's not part of his future, I would imagine.
That was... We need a new announcer pack here. Can we get one?
No.
Do we have a new announcer pack? I think we do.
Oi, oi, oi,
There we go.
Sumail entering stage. Wow, Boba. Amazing.
I will cheer for you, because I'm not going to do it in Russian.
Okay, before we went on a break that lasted a little bit longer than we were intending to, we were talking about Darkseer. We were talking about Bubble Darkseer. We saw it yesterday at the end of the day. We talked about it yesterday a little bit as well, but more so in this specific game, having a Darkseer to delay the game and perhaps also extend the game to late game, which is seemingly a more comfortable platform for EG to take the win at. Or at least they would just, or rather they want to take their time. It's not like they can't win early, but that's their typical play style to win on the later stages.
I think that yesterday we saw them pick up Darkseer twice in a row.
Yes.
Because I think it kind of fit against Team Spirit, because Team Spirit ran these kind of early aggression strategies, which have some heroes that are not necessarily the best at dealing with Darkseer in the lane stage. Like Darkseer is one of those heroes that if you actually want to play against the hero, you need to kind of invest into shutting him down early on, you know, before he gets this level 2 and 3. Because then the lane becomes kind of difficult. Playing up against heroes like Slardar, Morphling is very favorable for the Darkseer, because then he's gonna get his farm, and we saw Boba in that, especially in that last game, he did so much for his team.
He really
I think
did.
he won them I mean, countless fights. There were
But it
so
was
many
also
negative walls.
because the fights were so long.
Yeah, but I wanted to say is, I don't think it's necessarily that much about the Darkseer, although I do like the hero because it pressures a lot. I think it's more so about the fact that they kind of went away from putting Bulba on Lone Druid, Doom, you know, these farm-heavy heroes. I think it's not really his style, and we're going to see if they're going to actually do it today or not. But I would like to see him on these more so playmakers, teamfight heroes, more so stuff like this rather than the farming heroes.
Yeah, same. I like him more on that. Maybe Bat Rider even for Bulba here. We talked about it yesterday. He could still go for the X. And going into the picks a little bit here before we get to see them, I think heavy contention here, or I think will be Doom maybe for Fear, as we talk about. I don't want to see it on Bulba either. I think he's just better as a tempo controller. Axe is probably going to get banned out because both of these teams, we know they're going to maybe pick it.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know if they're necessarily going to ban the Slardar against Elite Wolves, but it seems like a lot of teams do prioritize that.
And the Axe.
And then
That's that one we saw
Beastmaster.
yesterday.
Yeah, and Beastmaster and Enchantress. Would you give away Beastmaster or Enchantress?
I think Beastmaster is one of the heroes that both teams are kind of going to contest. We saw we saw EG ran it before, and we know that they can play it on multiple positions, and also we've seen Elite Wolves, they really like that Beastmaster because of how the vision works. It favors them a lot, so they can get their initiations on, and they like to be kind of aggressive, and so I think that hero is going to be one of the top priority heroes. I'm curious to see how these teams are actually going to approach the Lich scenario. If they're actually going to care, if they're going to ban the Lich, are they going to pick Nature's Prophet if they give away Lich, or how they're going to deal with that?
Lich has got a nerf overnight.
I think Lich is a good third or fourth pick.
He got the nerf back straight away.
He went from 44 seconds to 60 seconds.
Okay, never mind. Lich is gone.
Yeah, that early cooldown is very it's very big deal.
Yeah,
very big deal. Not having it for almost every creep wave, that's a huge deal.
A hero that I mentioned earlier today that I feel personally is going to be a big contender or contested hero here is a Winter Wyvern. What's your thoughts on that?
Depends. We've seen it have a good success against the Drow strats, the Lycan strats, certain push heavy where you just kill one of your heroes. And then at other times we just the hero hasn't done much. It does offer some counterplay or a little bit of the sustain. It was pretty nice yesterday from PPD. I mean, he kept saving a lot of people with his Cold Embrace, kept turning it around on people's heads with the setup there for the ulti, but that lineup was more so to disengage or to set up for the Bulba plays, rather, because they had Night Stalker and Slardar and all these heals too, so you weren't going to necessarily get any kills with the Wyvern ulti yesterday. You were just kind of setting up for Bulba.
Yeah, I think that yes. We saw Elite Wolves, they ran the Slardar with the Winter Wyvern 2 times, I think it was, and they had a lot of success with that. But I'm curious if they're going to actually pick the Winter Wyvern outside of that Slardar, if they don't get the Slardar, and I kind of think that EG might ban that hero. So I'm curious to see if they're still going to actually pick it up. I still think it's a really good hero, and we saw what the hero can do even against Slardar. And just in general, the hero, it has a lot of potential, basically. He can be very influential both in the early, mid, and late game.
We had Vega versus Elite Wolves yesterday, and it was a 3-game series, as in all 3 games were played, of course. And the Slardar and the Axe were, I think, the second and the third game banned both games, and Vega won that one. So is that something that EG will look at and think, oh yeah, we should do that too, because that's the way to beat Elite Wolves?
I mean, they can play Axe themselves, so I don't think if they have first pick, they can leave it in for themselves. I want to see if we're going to go back to another aspect of where it will be on Beastmaster. A lot of these games we'll try to get through, but how are teams going to be able to counter the hero? Are they going to go the Night Stalker route, or what are they going to do? Because it just seems like Beastmaster, in the last series at least, where we got to saw Empire and Na'Vi, was that defining hero that just set the tempo, went around the map, and just later in the game was that X factor for constantly getting the key initiates. It's a hard word. How do you say that word, guys? Key initiations. There you go. I got
Key initiations.
You got it.
So previous series, we saw that the teams liked second pick, aka last pick, aka the first, the second pick where you get 2 picks in a row. How do you feel like that's going to be for this series, for these teams?
I think one thing is now that actually the whole drafting sequence will kind of change a little bit because of the Lich nerf. I think Lich will now be out of the equation, so he won't be a ban or one of the first picks anymore.
Yeah.
That means the teams have, well, they sort of have one more ban, you know? The team that is going to be, I guess, second pick, because usually it was the second pick that banned the first pick, Lich. So now the second pick team, it's going to be more, you're going to be more able to target the team you're playing against, their heroes, rather than, you know, just banning this Lich just because of how strong the Lich seem to be. So now you just kind of get another free ban if you are second pick. So I think this kind of favored second pick even more. So I think that's probably what people would go for.
I like second pick just for the fact that you get the last pick, but at the same time, that first pick is always a key thing. And then you always have the potential, when you have that first pick, you can also then counter the next two picks. And then going into the second phase, I'd still say it still favors first pick a little bit more, just because you can still counter those two first picks as well, and then you get that. Well, you don't get necessarily the last pick, but so we have to see how the second pick works out. I guess with the Roshan, you know, nerf a little bit here. Dire, I would say, is still not the biggest issue a lot of the times, because every time I was seeing these team fights, like you have a Lycan, you have a Beastmaster, and you're killing Roche so damn slow now.
Yeah.
I was like.
But with the games going longer, you kind of want the Dire advantage to get the Roshan, because the longer the game goes, the more important Roshan gets.
So I guess the nerf to early game, maybe buff to later game, does kind of favor the Dire in that situations.
Yeah, I mean, I think Roche is always just going to be a Dire thing. It doesn't really matter if you know, buff him or nerf him that much. It's still the fact that he is closer to the Dire base. You have to take out the tier 1 on the mid lane and the bottom lane, and even to some extent the tier 2 on the bottom lane there. So Dire is always kind of going to be the thing for, I mean, Roche is always going to be the thing for Dire. So I think Roche, second pick, that's kind of the ideal scenario.
Okay, this is the first tournament that we see EG in this lineup. Normally a team has like a bit of a growth throughout a tournament like this. How do you feel it's going for them? Do you see, like, for example, their synergy, is that where it should be? Do you see something lacking when you watch their games? Like, okay, they should be a bit more crisp. The last game that we watched yesterday, I felt was their synergy really showing, because, I mean, if you have long team fights like that, what better way to practice communication and stuff like that when you have just 5-minute team fights, right?
Yeah, and I mean, I think if you didn't watch that game yesterday, the Team Spirit versus EG, I think we also heard ODPixel managing to not breathe for 3 minutes in some of those fights. It was a very intense game. I think check it out if you didn't. But yeah, we could really see, I think, kind of EG realizing how to play more together. They actually seem to play like a team. We saw some of the games earlier against Vega, and who else was it? MVP, I think it was.
Yeah.
They lost. Right? Yeah, they kind of didn't really seem like they had found their own play style yet. You know, they seem kind of out of place. I think, I hope for their sake that, you know, they actually, this was something that, okay, they can build from there.
Yeah.
And that they're kind of going to figure out, okay, this is kind of how we have to play. We need to play a bit more with these, you know, they like the team fight a lot. You saw the Darkseer twice, obviously, the Vacuum into, we saw the Disruptor, there was the Axe, and just a lot of these combos with the Darkseer and whatnot. I think that suits them very well.
And in regards to Elite Wolves, how has their growth been this tournament so far, you feel, Raya?
Exponential. I mean, it's through the roof right now. It's very nice to see for the South American fans, just seeing how they've grown. It was like they could have started in the winner's bracket 100%, but I guess not 100%, 99% because they didn't. But it's one of those things where, well, did they start in the? I'm trying. Elite Wolves didn't? Yeah, they did.
Elite Wolves started in the winner's bracket, and then they got knocked down by Vega.
I was just saying, like, immediately with the Navi game there, when they kind of threw the first one.
Yeah, actually, that is so true.
Yeah,
yes.
But so they for me, and then it wasn't just a fluke, right? They came back and they got their heroes banned, the Axe and the Slardar, and then they still performed in the next series against Vega. So it was like, wow, Elite Wolves is doing really good. They don't need these niche picks, and they can play as a team. Vega Squadron also stepping up their game. I was really surprised by them, you know, how far they've managed to make it through the tournament. And it's just really nice to see for the South American fans. Obviously, we all know that they can no longer go for Valve events for a little while here, but it's going to be funny. Like, what if they just win all of the tournaments and you're not going to Valve events? That is just like the ultimate, like, well, we're a top team. We know we are, but not going to
just hang in there.
Yeah, this Gonna hang in there for a while.
Vámonos, muchachos. We have to go for Peru.
Ondale, ondale. Arriba.
So looking at Elite Wolves, I feel like you said you want Boba to be the playmaker for Evil Geniuses. I'm thinking for Elite Wolves, Van.
I think Ewo, I'm gonna say he always plays like we saw the Slardar, but I mean when he plays even Gyro, it's like I feel like he's always around the map when he's playing anything for Ewo. He's that tempo controlling carry, and it's just always nice to watch. But yeah, I agree, Van. His Beastmaster has been on point.
He played Queen of Pain, I believe, in the group stages in one of the games, and I mean that game I still remember because it won me over. He was so aggressive the whole time. He was the one making the plays. What player would you think is the biggest playmaker on the side of Elite Wolves?
I think Evo has been kind of the one making a lot of plays. We saw him on the Slaughter a few times, and what was it we saw him last?
We saw him Bristleback.
Yeah, the Bristleback was
we
not.
Saw
that was not
his CK, I think.
We saw his
CK...
Beastmaster, and we saw his Gyrocopter yesterday.
Who was playing CK for them then?
CK was Van.
Okay.
Oh,
well, that game, I think actually they have been. They've been doing. Oh, come on, Nashiver.
Oh, come on.
Don't be like that.
Sometimes I'm not right often, so when I am,
okay,
you know,
you gotta get the ones you get.
Yeah, I gotta make it known.
Once a LAN, I agree.
But I think actually both of those players have been. They have shown quite a lot of, strengths. I like the Queen of Pain. I think it was Van played that one earlier.
It
was a very impressive one up against. Who was that? It was quite early on in the tournament. Was that Team Spirit? Or was it Empire?
It might have been, but I can look it up
probably
for you.
Might have been Empire.
Yeah. Anyways, it was a very impressive performance, and also we saw Van on that Tinker.
Spirit.
He was. Van on that Tinker. It was.
Both
I felt like he overplayed his hand a couple times, but still he managed to get the farm, and is also one of those heroes that we don't see that often.
Yeah.
So I thought it was nice to see from him actually, play that Tinker and make great use of it.
I really love when they did that Queen of Pain too. It was like they went against the Beastmaster too, completely shut him down in lane, made him go to the jungle, and then that freed up a lot for the rotations around with the supports for Mystico and Masoko. They just have a really nice job. I really love. Obviously, we talk about it a lot when they played the Wyvern in this tournament so far. It's been phenomenal. For EG too, the Wyverns helped them out. Yesterday. So support, I guess Wyvern is a big thing in these acts. We talked about enough. I guess we could maybe say what is like something crazy that could happen.